Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to look at just how easy it is to change the color scheme for the Canvas starter site. This is part of the Canvas educational series, the 101 videos, to help customers get the starter site off the ground really quick and learn how I did certain things and how to do certain things on their own. Or if you just want to follow along and learn about this stuff, that's cool too. All right, let's go ahead and find my build notes for the Canvas starter site to follow along with. So we go to the MyListing Club website, that's mylisting.club. We're going to click here on this Explore button, or just scroll down the homepage just a bit and click into this Starter Sites card. We're then going to click Explore again, and we're going to click into the Canvas card. That brings us to the Canvas product page. We're going to scroll down until we find the build notes, which I have now renamed Build Notes and Educational Videos. So within each of these toggles, you're going to find information and videos to go along with that. Some are educational videos, some are educational slash, my notes, my walkthroughs, okay? So for this one, again, we're talking about colors. I just did a video that had to do with the global CSS package, which also relates to colors. So we're now building off of that, and we're into this colors section here. So just a real quick recap. I don't want to go too deep into it because I've already done a video here, as you can see, for the color scheme. But one of my goals for this starter site in particular was to make it really easy to hand off to customers, whether those customers are going to keep the starter site for themselves or hand the starter site off to their clients maybe. So I believe I've accomplished that here, and I hope to demonstrate that for you here in this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Move this over to my other screen here. And so we're looking here at Canvas, and it's by default, it's going to be in light mode. You can switch everything over to dark mode if you want. We'll go ahead and just work here with light mode. All right. So to go ahead and start us off, let me copy my color here that I'm going to change everything to. And I'm just going to use the MyListing Club's yellow color, the yellow branding color, to apply to this site. All right. All right. So the very first thing you want to do is come over into the back end of your website, Canvas in this case, and we're going to go to Theme Tools, Theme Options, and General. And we're going to just change the accent color here. Here we see it's the blue for Canvas. We're just going to change this to the yellow color from the club and update. Okay, what this is going to do is just automatically go out through the site, and every place that the MyListing theme references the accent color to apply a color, it's going to go out and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh. And there we go. So we see the CTA gets that nice yellow color. We've got some yellow here on the icons on hover. We've got this button down here, which is actually a link that I turned into a button. So all of that looks great. Let's see if we type into quick search there. Yep. So we've got some nice colors on our icons. We've got one more button down here that is still blue. So we'll get into that. And we're just going to work top to bottom here, okay? This blue color here, this is actually an avatar color. This is the WordPress user account thing. So this is the logo, if you will, that I assigned to my user account. So that's not going to change. That's static. So that'll be someone's avatar icon, or their actual logo, or their maybe a headshot or something like that. Looking here into the direct messages, we see this is taken on our accent color. So that is all great. Again, this blue is the avatar, so that's to be expected. And so right away on scroll, we see the blue color again. So we're going to go back into our theme options. We're going to go to header, because that is the header area. Scroll to the bottom, and we're going to change this on scroll header background color. We're just going to paste in our yellow color. So we're going to do that for the border and the background. Up to you what you want to do there. And we're going to save. So upon refresh, we see that on scroll, we've now got our yellow in there. Our next items up are these boxes right here, okay? And this is an Elementor template, so we need to start working then in Elementor. So let's go ahead and open our homepage. We're going to edit that with Elementor. Okay, so now when you change these, ideally you don't want to go through and change the color for every single one of these all throughout the site, correct? So for that, we just go over here, so into the Elementor side panel here, and click on this little side menu up here at the top left corner. We're then going to go to Site Settings, and we're going to get into our global colors here, this top selection. And we see here our accent color is also purposely defined within our global colors for anything that's Elementor based, okay? So with that in mind, let's go ahead and close down this Site Settings. I'm going to show you a little trick what I like to do, so you don't have to keep bouncing back and forth between the Site Settings and the Elementor widgets and stuff like that. So what I like to do is just open up some random page. We'll just go ahead and open up. We'll open up the blog page here. And then I like to just open Site Settings on another random page just so it's easier to bounce back and forth. We're going to go back into the global colors again. And here we reference that accent color, okay? So if we go back to our home page and we look at these individual boxes here, I'm going to go ahead and reload this page. I'm not sure what Elementor's doing. There were some recent updates, and you know how Elementor updates are. Sometimes you got to clear some cache and regenerate some CSS, but it is what it is. All right, so we go into these individual boxes and we go to the Style tab, and here we go to the icon, and then we see, if we hover over this, we see that the color is being pulled in by the accent color, okay? Everything else, the title, is black. So if we go into that, here's the content. We see the title is canvas black and the description is canvas black. Okay, so what about this color here? So we've got a little bit of a background color, and then we've got a little of color on hover. Okay, so for that, we go to the Advanced tab, Background, and we see that we've got a canvas gray. And on hover, we've got the accent color with 10% opacity, which means it's only going to show 10% of its color for the accent. You see a theme here. Looking at the color scheme real quick here in WP Codebox, we see that we're not using very many colors. Yes, it looks like we are, but it's actually only a couple colors, black, white, and the accent color, and then it's just different shades of those. So you don't have to worry about this complicated color palette. Another one of my goals with this starter site was to show that you can build a beautiful site without getting crazy with tons of colors in your color palette. Shades, that's a different thing, but like you start getting into like 8 different main, primary colors, and then those have shades and opacity, and like it starts getting kind of crazy, which is, it's doable, but I just wanted to show in this site that it's easy and to do with and beautiful still to do with a limited amount of colors. Okay, but if you get your hands on this starter site, you can do whatever you want, obviously. So again, we come in here and we don't want to change all of these, right? So all we got to do is go back to our site settings. I had this other page pulled up just for this purpose. We're going to just drop our yellow in here. We're just going to replace this accent color globally and click update. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh our home page and just see what that leaves us with. All right, cool. So we're really far along now, but we still, we see we've got some. Let's just say, I like this. I like this little gray color. It still looks good, the canvas gray. But I don't want this to be blue. I want this to be my yellow, my branding. So I'm gonna go back to the site, to the home page here, and we reference this one more time. We're using the accent color, 10% opacity. So that's what we need to change. Okay, so we go back into our global colors. I'm going to expand this a little bit here. Okay, and we're just going to look for that color. Accent, 10% opacity. Here it is. Okay, so all we're going to do here is we're going to drop in, just going to paste in our new color. We're going to switch over to the RGBA option here, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to put in, you can drag this slider over if that's easier for you to get to 10. So what you're looking for is 0.1. There we go. So now we've changed that to our new branding color with 10% opacity. Okay, we're going to save that. Let's go back, refresh our homepage. Okay, let's hover over the cards. Yeah, see, that looks really nice. All right, let's check our search here. Okay, this all looks good. Everything looks good. All right, let's keep scrolling down. The cards look good. We've got some blue here. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here into theme tools. Or I'm already got this open. We're going to go theme options. We're going to go performance. And just to be sure, I'm going to regenerate the listing preview card cache. Let's go ahead and run that and then refresh our homepage. Okay, so we still got the blue there. Our tick box here we see has changed. So our tick marks are our brand. We still get this blue here. And I believe that's coming from CSS. Our icons look good here. That looks all good. So we're going to get it into CSS for that one. Let's continue on with the Elementor side of things. So going through these sliders, you know, the buttons look good. That background looks good. Okay, we've got a blue background here we need to change. A couple of them we need to change, okay? So we're gonna go back into our homepage, scroll down here to that section, and it's gonna highlight that container. So this container right here that has the blue, and go to Style. And for the background, we see that it is the accent, 10% opacity, so we are in the wrong. Let's go back to this one here. Here we go. So this one has the accent color at 20% opacity, okay? So let's go back to our site settings. 20% opacity, there we go, we found it. Let's punch in our new color. We can do the slider until it's 10%, but I'm gonna switch over to the RGBA. It's just easier to do it this way. And again, we're looking for just putting 0.1, which is 10%. Okay, so we've now changed it to 10%, but remember I said you need 20%, so that's my bad. So 0.2 is 20%. All right, we've now done that. While we're in here, we could just make life easier on ourselves if we want. We see the next color up here is 30% opacity. Let's go ahead and dive into there and change this to 30%. So what would that be? That would be 0.3. Okay, 0.3. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep doing the slider. Accent 50% is the next one down. Let's go in there, change it to RGBA, paste. Sorry, now RGBA. Slide this over a little bit so we can get our decimal point in there. There we go, 0.5. That's 50% opacity. And okay, so that's good for our opacity. Let's go with that for now. Refresh our homepage. And let's go through the slides. There we go. A little darker yellow on every other slide. That looks good. And you may think this seems like some work to you, but again, like I can't emphasize enough, this is through the entire website. You just need to do this one time. So it's huge. Okay, let's say you come down here. Let's say you like this gray color. It's not bad. We do have the blue tick here still. I'm not sure why that tick is there, but it's not here on these. So let's see if that just works itself out and we'll fix it when the time comes. Let's click on quick view, see what we've got in here. So we've got that tick here again. So we may need to manually adjust that. I believe we do. This blue that you see in the map, that is just coming from Mapbox. So what you'll do is you'll just, you can either add your own map style with the color that you want in here, or you can just use a default map style that's included with MyListing. Totally up to you what you want to do there. So I'm going to show you how to change this tick color, even if we don't need to, okay? But I think we need to. All right, so we're going to change it so that this blue tick looks good. For that, I recommend you use a free application called FileZilla. It is basically a file explorer, file manager application. It works on all operating systems, Windows, Mac, whatever. Another alternative is you could do the file, like a file manager plugin. I just recommend that you don't go that route. If you do go that route, just make sure that you uninstall that plugin once you're done. But there's real danger in using a file manager plugin, because if you mess up a file and it borks your site, it causes your site to crash, then you can't get into it unless you then go in to like FileZilla anyway and fix it, or you do a restore, which you don't want to do of your whole site. So it's always safer just to go in through FileZilla. All right. So I'm connected to this site. It's very simple to do. If you're in Keensta, if you happen to be a Keensta customer like me, they give you the information in the info tab of your dashboard, and you just plug it into FileZilla and off you go. It's super, super simple. All right. All right, we're going to click into the WP content folder. We're then going to click into the themes folder, and then we're clicking into the MyListing child folder. We're using a MyListing child theme. That way, if the parent theme gets an update, which it often does, then we're not going to lose our settings. All right. We're then going to go into the assets folder and then into the images folder. And then this is the file we need to change, this tick SVG. Now, if you just want to get back to the default MyListing color, I can't recall. Let's find out what that is. I can't recall off the top of my head what that color is. I think it's blue. I'm just going to rename this file to tick old, and we'll get back and we'll look at the default color. I think it's almost like that old light blue color. Let's see. Let me go back here. I'm going to regenerate my preview cards again. We may need to clear the actual cache on the whole site. Yeah, let's go ahead and clear the whole cache here, just to be sure. There's one more step we might need to take if it's just not being jarred loose. Okay, so I'll show you another step here. This is a little troubleshooting trick you need to do sometimes with MyListing. If you click on the listing feed here, we see that MyListing has a default cache time of 720 minutes. So until that 720 minutes runs up from the time you make a change, it's going to just be what it is. I'm going to set this to 0 to jar this loose. There we go. We see that tick color automatically changed. It's kind of like a teal blue. So I'm going to change this back to 720 and update. So that's a tricky way to see what after that cache runs out, what it's actually going to be. Now you can leave that setting at 0 for that cache, but I recommend you don't do that. I recommend you just make sure you get your caches cleared. However it is that your website's cached. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and change this tick color to match your branding, to match the branding we're doing for this site. So I'm going to rename this back to the way it was. So you have the starter site, you want to change this to your branding, you browse here like I'm showing you here, you right click on it and you choose edit. Okay, I've got my brand color copied to my clipboard, and you just go in here and you look for the fill value. So here's the path fill equals. You just change this value, just a number. There we go. And you save the file. So file, save, and close it. All right. And then sometimes you need to minimize the screen and then come back, and then FileZilla will ask you to update your file, close it and update it. So there we go. So now we've updated that tick file. Let's go back to the home page, refresh. There we go. So now we're positive to get that tick color across the board, and we do. Okay. All right, so let's see. Our tooltips look good here on those icons. We're good here. Obviously, these placeholder images, you're going to change those anyway to match your own website and branding. Moving on down, this all looks great. This looks great. Again, this is the avatar. This is the author photo. So because my avatar image is of this logo, that's why that is blue. Okay. This all looks great. Obviously, you're going to put images here where the placeholders are, and that's going to look really good. Same up here. You're going to put images in here. This is all going to look good. Yep, this all looks good. Typing text in here, that all looks good. Cool, 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 cool. That's good. All right, so we got a couple of items down here. So let's go back to our home page. We'll go ahead and just do a refresh here. Scroll down here. Let's find those boxes. All right, so let's look at this first one. This is a CTA. So we're going to go to Style and Hover Effects. And our first one here is our accent color, but 20% lighter. Okay. So how do we do that? Find any tool out there that allows you to do, you know, hex codes, color templates, things like that. This is the one I use typically. So you just punch in your color here and just hit this lighten button. All right. And it's currently set to default to 10%. So it's going to lighten it in 10% increments. So again, we're looking for 20% lighter. Here it is. So I'm going to copy this value, 20% lighter. I'm going to go back into my site settings and look for that accent 20% lighter. Boom, here it is. Okay. I'm going to punch that in. Don't need to mess with RGBA on this one. You just punch in the hex value. Okay. While we're in here, let's change the other ones. Let's do 10% lighter. Let's go back here. Here's our 10% lighter. Let's copy that. Let's drop that in. So 10% lighter. Boom. What do we got? 30% lighter. So that's this one. And 30% lighter. Got that in there. What else we got? 95% lighter. Okay, for that one, you're going to need to go. How did I get that one in there? You're going to have to go like, I don't think it even goes here. So you got to go like lighten by 5%. And then you take the 45% value, copy that back into here and let it do the lighten by 5% again. And that should get you right up here. That's about as good as you can get with this particular color. So I'm going to put this in. Okay, boom. Let's put that in. I actually think that was opacity, 95% lighter. So that's actually opacity is how I got there. Okay, that's a brain fart. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and let's put in. That makes sense. Now that's a brain fart. Okay, so we're going to go 90% opacity. So for that, we can actually go back here, put in our, remember the RGBA. So we're going to punch in our brand color, go to RGBA. We're going to slide this all the way over. And we're looking for just 0.05. That's what gets us to 5%, to 95% opacity. So just 0.05, very, very light. Okay, so that's that one. And let's save that. Refresh our home page. All right, pretty cool. Obviously some of these colors aren't, this particular yellow is not going to look good here. It's not good for accessibility. I would even argue this doesn't look great. This looks good and this one looks good, but that's a different discussion. Okay, we've got one more here that's kind of a darker blue. So let's go back to our site settings. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from these right here, these other accent darkers, okay? So I'm going to go, and I've got my code punched in there. And we'll leave that at 5%. And I'm just going to, instead of choosing lighten this time, I'm going to choose darken. Okay, there we go. And we need 20% darker. Let's go back to our site settings, 20% darker. We punch that in. Boom. Now we need 10% darker, which is this guy. Okay, looking at our global colors now, we have we're pretty much done. Assuming you're fine with the black color, the white, the shade of light gray, and all these other shades of black, assuming you're okay with it. You can change this if you want. We're done with the colors as far as Elementor is concerned. Let's update this, refresh our home page. Again, I'm going to iterate across the entire site where Elementor is used to build anything. You're done as far as global colors. Okay. Moving on. This is good. This looks great. Let's ignore this pop-up for now. This looks great. Okay, we've got a couple icons here. So this is a unique situation. These are custom icons. Okay. For that, you can just go into. You can put your own icons. You don't need to go through this if you don't want to. But if you actually want to use those. Those icons or similar icons. I organize everything in here by folder, so that we're on the home page, right? So you come in here and find the home page folder, and these are the icons, okay? So you can just replace these with your own custom icons that are that color, and you're good to go, or you may not even need to use these at all, but you see what I'm saying here. In some cases, there just weren't any icons in the existing library that I liked, that I wanted to use for those particular items. So that's why they're a different color, okay? Elementor at the time of this recording is set to, when they drop the next major release, they're gonna have a lot more icons included. So there might be something in there I just switch over to, but your chances are if you get this starter site, you're not gonna use those anyway. You're gonna find different icons. Okay, this all looks good. These are placeholder images too. You're gonna add your images in there. That's gonna look great. This is Embed Social. This is an external solution. You just go in there into Embed Social and set that in there. I could probably do that real quick for us. It'd be useful for those that are going to go ahead and use Embed Social to put Google reviews on their site. So I'll show you how to do it. Very, very simple. So I am now logging into my Embed Social account. Okay, and here I am going to pull up my widget for the homepage. So for that, we go to widgets, and I'm looking for the Canvas homepage widget. There we go. And I'm looking for the header section, I believe. So header. And here we go. Here's our branding. So it's the same thing. So I'm going to copy my branding color. And I'm just going to drop this in to the button. All right. And you can have a different hover color if you want. I'm just going to put them both in there. Okay. So there's that. And we're going to save. Refresh our home page. If you would allow me just 1 second, I'm actually going to get rid of that. I'm going to disable that pop-up before I forget. Because this is just a testing site, a copy of the actual Canvas site. So I just want to get this off of here so it doesn't keep interference. So appreciate your patience while I do that real quick. Sorry, clicking too fast. All right, this is actually a learning experience. If you don't want to use this, or for your site, you can just set it to draft mode, and then later, if you want to use it, then you can go in there and style it for your own site. So I'm just going to set it to draft mode. Now there should be no pop-ups coming up. It's better than just deleting it because you might want to use that design later. Okay, all right, so that pop-up's gone. Embed Social looks great. Our yellow is great across the board. Everything looks awesome. Okay, there was just that one final piece, and that is conquered with CSS. So let's get into that. Again, super, super simple. Going back in here into WP Codebox. And here's our color scheme. Remember, Canvas is light mode by default. Although that said, I've got the color scheme listed exactly the same, whether you use the global dark mode or global light mode. I did that on purpose just to keep things simple. But yeah, it's the same colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and just change these. So accent 5, I document this, 5% lighter. All right, so let's just change that. Let's go. Here's our color. We've got 5%. Let's lighten this. So 5% lighter. So we copy our color. Let's go into our CSS WP Codebox and change that. Boom, 5% lighter. WP Codebox is kind enough to tell us or show us what that color is going to look like. Okay, accent 30% lighter. Here we go, 30% lighter. Grab that. Plop this in. The alternative to this, guys, is in the past, you would have had to go through all of these code snippets one by one and do like a mass replace, hunt and peck, find the colors, change them. This is just one shot. We're changing this just in this one spot, and kind of like with the Elementor, it goes throughout the entire website. It's really, really cool. All right, next one is 50% opacity. Okay, so here we go in here and we change this sliding scale here where the opacity is. We just change that to 50, so it's 0.5. Oh, that's already there. Okay, just copy that. Go back into WP Codebox, and it's going to give you a color too. The difference here with this tool is that it doesn't give you the same thing that Elementor gives you. Now you can just use this value right here, but we can also get that from Elementor. So what it gives us is, what's it say? 50% opacity. We can just dive back into our site settings in Elementor, since we still have that up, and grab that 30%. What was that? 50% opacity. See if we have that in there. We do accent 50% opacity. So we're just going to go ahead and copy this. Okay, we're going to switch over to the hex, and we're just going to grab that hex value, go back to WP code box, and drop this in. Here we go. Our color showed up. That is cool. That's really it for now. We can change this here. So accent 60% opacity is another one. Let's see if we have that in our colors. And we don't, but we could easily figure out what that would be. Or like I said, you can just come in here if it's easier for you. It doesn't really matter. And change this to 0.6, which is going to get you that 0.6 opacity, which I think is actually what I did here. So go back here. Yeah, that's what I did. So we just changed this out. There we go. So that's in there, 60% opacity. Everything else, we've got shades of white, shades of white, shades of black, our grays. That's it. We've now changed our colors to our branding across the entire site as I've implemented this on the site. All right, save our changes. Now let's refresh the home page. Boom, there we go. So this particular CSS came from this CSS package, the, where's it at? Listing previews right here. But if you notice, we didn't even have to touch that. We didn't even have to go in there. All we needed to do was change the color here one time. And because it just knows to go out and throughout the entire site and change that. All right. Beautiful. That's awesome. Another thing I want to bring up is you get a free month in the club community once you purchase a starter site. So if you're going through and you're doing all this stuff and you're cruising along and you hit you hit a snag or something, that's where you have that month just to ping me. You have direct access to me. Ask me anything. Ryan, I'm stuck. This one particular color, I can't get it. I can't figure out where it comes from. I'll help you. I'll tell you exactly where to go change it. Okay, super valuable stuff. All right, so let's look at some other area that's very CSS heavy. Let's look at the Explore page, for example. Just that fast, we shouldn't have anything else to change. These here are coming because it's our caching again. Dreaded caching. Let me clear this. Sometimes I forget. It's either regenerating the preview card cache or your site cache. In this case, we can't edit these feeds, right? So we can't change the cache. So it's got to be coming from somewhere in our actual caching for our site. There we go. So regenerating those preview cards got us back where we needed to be. Yeah, this all looks great. Our compare is working as yellow now. You see that little nice yellow border there. Our quick view looks great. A little border radius issue here that I will fix. I never noticed that before. That's a side thing. Again, the map here with Mapbox, this is just a simple change. I can show you that if you want to get back to the default. So let's go to the Explore page for experts. And just click anywhere to edit the MyListing Explore widget. And we're going to scroll down here and we're going to look for map skin. You'll see that I have Canvas map skin. You'll need to set this to something of your own. So I'll just choose light. There we go. So that looks good with it. Actually looks good with this color scheme. Or if you use Mapbox, you can very quickly create your own custom map skin with your own branding. All right, so that's how that's done. And you've got all these different other map skins that you can choose from by default out of the box if you don't want to go create your own. So play with that. This all looks good. We've got our category cards on hover looks good. It's good. Our filters look good. Yeah, this looks awesome. This was my goal. It makes me so happy when I see this, like just how easy this is now to hand off to people. All right, let's check. Remember this button was here when I typed in the quick search. Boom, that's now good to go. What about the dashboard? Let's look at the dashboard. a couple of areas here. So these are the stats. Where would that have come from? That is something I might need to look into. I'm pretty sure I color those, hopefully not by hand. Let's see, My Listing Dashboard. Let's do a search for views, because I know that's what I'm looking for, or view. It should be, actually, let's look at the analytics endpoint, which is this one right here. I should not have anything hard-coded in here. It should all be variables, and it is. So that looks like it's just an area that just needs to be styled. So very simple to do. I will make a note to do that. I was 90% sure I had already done that. Okay, yeah, so it's pulling from a color somewhere. Oh, you know where that's from? You know where that's from. That's actually in here under, let's see, theme tools. Sorry, yeah, listing stats. There we go. Listing stats. There we go. So that's what it is. So it's just one more area you've got to change. Okay. All right. So for that, we just go in here, grab this, go back into our listing stats. This is why I do these videos, so people know where to change this stuff. Sometimes this would be a great example. Someone pops into the club community and they're like, hey, Ryan, like I can't figure out how to change the stat bar. And then boom, like, okay, that we've just figured that out together, where to change that, and you're good to go. Okay, so let's refresh this. All right, that looks good. Let's check out our listings. This all looks good. You know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to get rid of this while I'm thinking about it. Please, another favor, if you would. I'm going to delete a couple of images from here just because I did this in the last video I did for testing. I put in an actual logo and a background here just so people could see, but I'm going to delete that because I like to be consistent across the board and just show all placeholders. There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, there we go. This all looks great. Yep. This all looks awesome. Awesome. Promotions. I don't know if I have any. I don't have any bookmarks. I should have some. Yep. This all looks great. Orders. Don't have any subscriptions. Don't have any accounts. Yep. This all looks great. Let's look at a couple other pages and I will get you out of here. See how this already changed? I mean, some of this isn't, this particular color scheme is not going to work entirely just because of accessibility reasons. You can't even read the button, but you guys are going to make much wiser choices than I just made as far as what colors to use. And you don't have to use the same opacity that I use. You don't have to use the same lightness. You can go darker, go lighter, whatever you guys want to do. All right, but this looks great though. You see, when you start getting into the darker colors, it just looks, obviously much better. But I just picked this color at random to work with. All right, let's look at the pricing tables. Yeah, that all looks awesome, looks good. Again, this, I don't know, it's just so happy with how fast everything changes over. Again, these, this looks good at the top. These are placeholder images. Those will be changed by you. That all looks good. That all looks good. All right. I think I've demonstrated enough to you guys, just how powerful this is and how easy this is going to be for you to switch the colors out. If you're working with me with Manage My Listing or Website Care, having me change out colors is going to be super simple, a lot easier than in the past. If you're handing this by the site and you're building it for a client, you see how much time you're going to save, them. They're going to be happier because you get them launched quicker. This is part of what I'm really focusing on when I say, when you look at the MyListing website, the MyListing Club website, just really pushing hard for launching faster and dynamic and scalability in mind. Making this so it really scales fast, and it's just not hunting and pecking for things and hoping you get everything changed over correctly and you don't miss anything. It helps really take a lot of those risks out of it. And this is just one aspect. Colors is just one aspect of the whole ball of wax. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.